Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm Tom Bouchie alongside John Wolf, and your head coach of the Menard Eagles, David Perkins, joining us. This is the biggest crowd we've had to start the show tonight at 7 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We got time and enough waitresses, and they're getting the food out quick to come out and join us. We still have room at tables out here on the patio, and it's not bad.
Feels good.
Really nice evening tonight on the patio.
Absolutely.
This is your Eagles Nest Coaches Show with, like I said, John Wolf, David Perkins, Tom Bouchie, and behind the camera, Landon Anderson coming and joining us out here at Buffalo Wild Wings. We're glad to have you out here at Buffalo Wild Wings. So great crowd. Thanks for everybody coming out. David, we got a good game to talk about. Not just the upcoming game because we're going into season 3, but this game, the final game of the year, the 10th week of the season. This is actually our 10th coaches show on the year because we followed the
this is the 11th week. 11th week.
Well, coming up, yeah, but I think it's our 10th coaches show, the Hurricane. We didn't come out.
You're right.
We didn't come out out here that Wednesday night. And as it turned out, we probably could have. It wasn't as bad.
Yeah, we could. We absolutely could.
Thank goodness we weren't hit as badly as we could have been. But a victory, ending out the regular season with a victory over Port Barre, a team that we had not faced before that we could at least trace back to any amount of time, to find. And they were the Red Devils. So we left one Red Devil behind last year that started with a P in Pickering and picked up another Red Devil that starts with a P and, responded.
Well, we're coming off, 2 losses. I don't know if y'all recognize, but this year we've won, lost, won, lost, won, lost. So now we won.
And won.
So hope we're fixing to break that. But, coming in, they were kind of like the rest of the teams, real fast. They have scored points on, they hadn't won a district game, but they had scored points on all the other teams that we have played in district, and so we were a little concerned, but also knowing we were at home and, we played pretty good defense this year, against most of the teams. And, the defense came in again, played a heck of a game, and the offense finally got going, and we put up some points and was able to get out of there with a victory, and it was a good victory for us. Actually helped us climb up one more spot. For the playoffs. So proud of the guys. They put in the work. It was week 10. You're sitting around 23, 24. As a coach, sometimes when we were able to come out Friday night, had a great environment. Our fans showed up, and actually they had a good crowd too. And it was a good game for us, and it was able to get the victory.
Coach, one thing I noticed in the game, and we talked about the field conditions. Of course, we got the rain before the game, and the field was a lot slick. Ball was slick. But I look at the offensive production Friday night, which, it's been a while since we've seen offensive production like that. But not only that, but we had a really good balanced approach because we did push the ball vertical down the field, but still had a pretty good running game too, if you want to talk about that.
Absolutely, and that's very important if you can balance it out. A lot of teams this year have been able just to put 7, 8 guys in the box, because we, certain games we weren't able to throw the ball as effectively as we would like to throw it. But we had a good game plan. Coach Ortiz, Coach Gatlin, Coach Rebin put together a really good game plan, and Coach Ortiz called a good game. And he was able to put Jake, our quarterback, in some good situations, and Jake had a good game throwing and a good game running the ball. We were also able to stretch the field a little bit better, and throw the ball down the field. Even on some of the incompletes, you're still stretching the field. And we did get the long one to Cutter, on the tip ball right there. That was able to help us. So, when you're able to do that and get the guys stretched out a little bit, then it's going to absolutely help your running game. And so we're kind of able to get both of them going. We was able to score, I think 21 in the first half, 14 in the second half. Probably could have scored again, but just great game plan offensively, and the guys put it to use really well.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about that touchdown pass that you just kind of described, the tip pass that Cutter stayed concentrated in to receive. A lot of teams elect to defer, and the defense has been playing really, really well. Tell us about that thought process and why you went that direction first.
Well, wanted to get an extra possession for sure. I think that, taking the kickoff, and most people don't, it would give us an extra possession. I've taken the ball several times. Defense out there on the field, that's really big. And especially if we can score first, get our defense out there, get a 3 and out, and get the ball right back again, then that's playing right into our hands, and our percentages of winning are really going up if we're able to play that way. So, I'm just thinking, let's get the ball. I was confident that we would be, watching the film, that we'd be able to move the ball a little bit. We did plan on throwing the ball and throwing it maybe a little more than even what we did, and we threw it a pretty good bit, but we was able to run the ball. So it balanced out. They would get the score, and it gave us a good advantage. And at home, that's good to be able to get that scored and put your.
We drove it all the way to their 10, and then gave the ball back to them. But the defense rose up as they took the ball from their 32, and drove it to the Menard 40. And at that point, we get the ball back, and that's when the offense, put the rest of it together, knowing they had driven the ball down. Was there confidence in the team after that drive down to the 10?
We're not saying, oh, here we go again kind of thing, but we did put the defense out there, and they were able to get some good plays there the first couple of plays, but we adjusted to that, and you're right, we were able to get the ball back. But the special teams, played very, very well, and that was important, and not just the kicking game, but also in the punting and being able to switch the fields and stuff like that. So the special teams are really important for us, and Hayden Kidd is our kicker, right? And he's been working so hard at what he's been doing, and he's gotten so much better since the summertime, and I'm just proud where he's at right now. And we'll talk about the game here a little bit later, but special teams may play a big role this Friday.
You mentioned it over the last couple of weeks that every kickoff you have,
kickoff. The team out there and a kickoff return team. So we worked on a body, so we blocked it real well, and we were able to get good field position.
Yeah, you were getting north of the 30 just about every time, and even your kickoffs. I've noticed Hayden's, putting that ball almost in the spot where he needs to be putting it for your coverage team to get down there.
And we came out after halftime, and y'all know that most of the time we kick the ball off to the left. So we're just going to squib it to the left. We tried to get it around the 30, 25 if possible, and not in the air, and kind of scooting on the ground. Hayden's gotten, and you saw them throw the pass on the kickoff, so they had to scout out, because what we do, we like to pin them, but we've got 6 guys on that side of the field and only 4 on the other side of the field, and we put it on the hash. So we were a little vulnerable over there when they threw that pass. So when we came out after halftime, I'm thinking they're going to do something again. So what I did is I flipped it and put our 6 guys on the opposite side on the right side this time. And I asked Hayden, I go, can you do the same thing but to the opposite side? And he said, yeah, I can do it. So I did that, and they weren't really expecting it. And they had a couple of young guys over there, and it went right to it. And he may have been a junior. He was probably a freshman, but he got the ball, and he got hammered.
Yeah.
And that was a big play for us, because we got that fumble, coming out.
Yeah.
And another special teams play. And, man, that really kind of jacked us up and fired us up. It was right on our sideline. It was a good hit. Even the hit going in there to try to get the fumble. I think Aaron Brevell, number 44, man, he's the one that really hurt the kid. So, but that fired our guys up, for the rest of the half. You come out, you're up going into the third quarter. You don't want to have no letdown. And that really jacked us up to keep it going, to keep that ball rolling.
Well, you mentioned it, 93 yards of offense in the first half, and pretty much all of that came in 2 drives, because the third drive you had, that moved over into the second quarter, rather. It was 192 yards in the first half. That was 93 in the first quarter, is what I meant to say. But, the drive stalled on your first drive, but then you drove it. But then the second drive and then we're able to take our TD. So.
And we knew they were talented.
They kind of tied it up. They had some speed.
They did. They did. And you talk about that first drive we drove down there, and I thought about kicking a field goal right there, but it was early enough in the game. If we don't make it, we'll put the defense out there. So and I know Hayden was mad that we didn't, but that's good. He's mad.
Yeah,
he wanted to go kick it.
Wants to get out there. He had some good extra points.
He did.
Yeah.
Without no line or anything, but just kicking. But he in the summertime he wouldn't even approach that. So he's really gotten.
He's starting to figure out that process.
It is, and he's just his nerves. At the beginning of the season, man, his nerves were really bad, and that or you call that the middle part of the game, and that was really affecting him. And I just we just had to fight through that, and he knows that, and he's gotten to where his nerves have settled down, and he's been able to play a lot better. He's a soccer guy too, so
yeah. You kind of talked about mentioned it the defense. When we were talking about in pregame and looking at the teams, I mean, you were right. I mean, they were putting 25, 30 points on teams.
They were.
And Avoyles was doing the same thing, and we blanked Avoyles. Oakdale was scoring a lot of points. We didn't come out on the winning side of that, but it was only 13 points given up, and one of them was a return on a kickoff, wasn't it?
Coaches, and we discussed that very thing. Kinder won the district. And beat all of us, beat all the teams. And then when Port Barry didn't beat any of the teams. So you got us, Oakdale, and Avoyles, who beat each other. I gave up 7 to you. I gave up 0 to you and 7 to you. I know y'all scored 13, but one was a kickoff return. And I gave up 7 to you. I gave up 14 points in 3 district games against you 3 guys. And you, who I gave up 0 to, you averaging 40 a game, about. You know, and Oakdale and Port Barry, y'all averaging 30 at least, or close to it a game. And
Port Barry was scoring on them.
They were. They scored at least 20 or 21.
Yeah. Their game. Those guys didn't make a lot of mistakes that game.
And they didn't. Their quarterback.
I'm looking that up. They let's see. Let's go back. Port
it was
Barry.
either 20 or 13.
Yeah, it was in
like
the 20s. I want to say.
But they had opportunity to score more points too. They had
scored.
Speed.
They scored 27 on Avoyles. Mm-hmm. But
I thought it was 30. Okay, well, that's all right.
But, it was wait a minute, is that us? No, that's not us. Yeah, 50-6. They're saying was the score against Kinder. Very similar to us.
Right.
We only gave up 7
because we watched those films.
32-27 was the Avoyles score for them.
Right, and they are close. But
hang on, I'll tell you.
But
I thought it was 40-something to 30-something.
Avoyles was a first down away from being able to run out the clock.
Wow.
They went for it on 4th, which they used a lot. Threw a pass, he dropped it. Kinder got it and scored and won.
Yeah, it was a close ball game from what I saw.
Yeah, so
it was a great game too, and they played
30-26. Yeah.
So
I mean,
and they got a good record. So and it turns out that our strength, and they got a good record. So and it turns out that our strength of schedule actually turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course that helps in the the rankings.
It does.
As you're going through. I mean, we were sitting at 23. We were thinking 24. You mentioned we actually go up
22
to 22. Did that shock you?
A little, but I don't know if we'll talk about the John Paul game here.
Yeah. In the third.
Well, and I think
segment.
Beekman Charter losing the other night helped us bump up.
It did.
Yeah.
You just never know what's going to happen in all the other games. We've kind of we lost the 3 close games. Oakdale, St. Mary's, and who was it? Other Buckeye. Because Coach Rebin, he's a guru with stats, right? He goes, if we would have won those 3, he figured we'd be sitting at about 12. So that's how close things are. And last year it's the same way. We played a whole bunch of close games, and if we lost a couple of them, we may be sitting kind of where we are this year. So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean St. Mary's.
That too.
Buckeye was 27-20.
Right.
Right.
I mean Buckeye, they earned the win. They absolutely did. They played well.
13 zip.
But you're basically
right there.
You're 2 or 3 plays away from a difference in those ball games. You make 2 or 3 plays, prevent them from making 2 or 3 plays, and the outcome's totally different.
It is.
And, you just talked about it. Where does that put you in your rankings? You go from
1-3, probably. They end up with a good record.
Tom, you want to talk about that, talking about Buckeye and U-High. So I think Buckeye, depending on the U-High ruling next week, if Buckeye beats Booker T, in U-High, they get a favorable ruling from U-High. They're in the quarterfinals, probably playing Leesville in the quarters. Probably first time in the history of Buckeye football.
That's right. Yeah. You're right.
But they'll have to travel, though, right?
To Leesville.
We were talking about Leesville because Leesville's got the higher
Leesville
seed.
is pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah. No, Leesville's stout.
Leesville is pretty good.
And of course,
they got another Ford kid over
that'll
there.
leave
That
our
Ford kid there.
that'll leave our 446 crew at home. You can't film in Leesville.
Federation. Yeah.
We already had that figured out. But yeah, I mean, and we were going to save the U-High thing, but since we brought it up, let's go ahead and
Sure.
and have that conversation. And then we maybe finish out on the game itself if there's anything more to say about the football, our football game against Fort Berry. But the U-Lab thing, what is your take on that? And I mean, why can't a judge make a decision, quickly and have to wait a full, week or so
Week and a
after a
half.
playoff? Crazy, man.
Man, I mean, I don't know all the particulars, but I know what I know, and if those guys were at Liberty last year and they're in the same attendance zone, it's the same thing with us and Ash. I mean, if someone plays at Ash, this year they can't come to Menard and play next year. I mean, unless they had some sort of a hardship, but you go through that, and that's a LHSA procedure, and that would have been done, and obviously in this case that wasn't done. I've heard that even guys were playing for ULAB that their names were still in Liberty's system as far as the LHSA website where you got to register all your athletes, into the system. They were still in Liberty's system. So, how's that work?
Yeah.
So it's going to be – I'm going to tell y'all, it's going to be interesting to see what this ruling is. And then it's going to be interesting to see what the reactions are going to be.
Well, I mean,
what,
just messes. I mean, it has the opportunity to really mess people up. Peabody's not in the playoffs, right?
Peabody
Because
got
of
kicked.
the
They would be the one in. But now they're not going to be, no matter
Right.
what.
And
It's
they
just
can't
25.
even play.
Yeah, they're a 25 seed. They were
Because they're
24.
left out.
But I tell you what, when you look at this, and Coach said it, talking about the what the judge does in this case, my concern is, did you open Pandora's box now? If LHSA rules one way and you disagree, you just find a court to throw it into, and what's that do? I mean, what's that do to the teeth of the LHSAA? I mean, virtually now saying, all right, well, if you don't agree with something, just take it to a judge that'll hear it for you.
Or does it open a box that's already been happening? And it just ain't, and that hadn't just been gotten, hadn't been out there.
Yeah.
How often does this happen that it doesn't even reach the public?
The question is, if it's a rule that's broken, why are they even in the playoffs? I mean,
Well, that's the big question.
Yeah.
But when you lawyer up, everything is put to a halt.
Well, the judge put the injunction that you couldn't remove.
So the
them.
LHSA made the ruling that they were out.
Yes.
Out, yeah. I mean, so they made the right ruling.
They did.
Well,
well,
we know.
Well, I mean,
by what the rule
technically,
states, you would
by
think.
a rule. I mean, if the rule stated,
They had to forfeit all those games.
yeah,
That's what the LHSA ruled.
right.
And then they,
and then
lawyer
the
up.
judge says, "Oh, wait a minute, that's ridiculous." We had a conversation like this in the city council meeting last night. We had somebody coming in asking for a variance to put something, a movable object on a property that is not in what we call the overlay district. And we did that for a reason, create an overlay district so those types of homes can be moved in and then not in other parts of the city. And now the gentleman that wanted to do it is a fantastic guy, and he keeps his properties up. But my take on it, I'm not a variance voter, because if you have an ordinance and you're going to make a change to the ordinance, then why have a rule? Why have an ordinance if you're just going to break it and say, okay, you can do it, and then the next guy comes in, you say, oh, you can't. How do you pick winners and losers? And that's basically what the judge is doing here.
And often do you see that in our society too, and it gives off a bad impression. You got this school sitting right there in the middle of LSU's campus, so or what, they just get in favor, and obviously these guys that they're talking about aren't you just middle of the road players. These are like probably Division I athletes, so it matters, So, or they all matter, but is that the reason why there's so much attention?
Right. Interesting. So appreciate you talking about that, because some people probably have heard some stuff and maybe not fully understanding, what's going on or why and why things could change. And like you said, hey, great for local team Buckeye.
Buckeye sitting in a catbird seat if it does.
If they keep the ruling the way the LHSA did it,
So if ULAB wins, of course they got a bye now, but if they win the next game,
if Buckeye wins,
or if ULAB wins,
then they get to play Buckeye,
and then they win the lawsuit, then they just keep going. Then it's just a regular, But if they lose the lawsuit, then the team that they beat will now go on in the bracket,
which would be the Buckeye Booker T winner.
Yeah,
because that's who they would face in round 2.
In round 2.
Yeah,
and then that winner would get
to
probably
go to
most likely
Leesville.
Most likely,
but they get a week off. Right?
Yeah.
Because the ruling will happen before that game, correct?
Supposed to.
Before the third game.
Oh, before the third
Well,
game.
the ruling happens next week, right?
Yeah,
the 18th.
But after ULAB has played a game.
Well, no. ULAB's off this week.
ULAB's off this week.
The 18th is next week. So round 2 is next Friday. So if the ruling comes out.
22nd is Friday.
Yeah, if the ruling comes out 18th, which is before next Friday, ULAB could be ruled ineligible, say Tuesday
and the winner of
next
Friday's
week,
game.
and then Buckeye would know
Right.
Buckeye wins this week. Buckeye would know, okay, Tuesday we got a bye in second round.
That's right.
We're playing the winner of the
And
Leesville
they're
game.
moving on,
potentially.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And if Leesville gets upset, they get a home game probably.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at the
possibly.
bracket depending on their seed.
Depending on the seed.
High seed. That's another change this year. Is LHSA's gone with high seed hosts throughout, right?
No matter what.
So, no matter what, which it's always been kind of flip where you're home or away before.
I like that rule.
Yeah.
I think that's a good rule. So anything more that about the game Friday night against Port Barry? I mean, what happened with the at the end of the game? It just seemed to be. It started getting real.
Well, it was chippy anyway in the fourth quarter. Just a lot of talking and chirping going on. So it just a handshake, just some shoving was going on. And one of our guys got shoved on the ground. So we were guys parents were just helping him up. It wasn't no big deal.
Okay,
we good.
Yeah. Well, everybody was out there. Causey to the rescue.
Security. We always had a lot of security. So
they did a good job of making sure nothing went down. We're going to take a quick break, a commercial break, and it won't be quick, but we'll be back when it's over, and we'll lay out our Southern Air Cool play of the game, our Security Sporting Goods player of the game. And you get to tell us who the Express Pros Employment Services lineman of the game is. And we're going to call T-Sam to come up and join us during that segment. So T-Sam can share, some thoughts on each one of those awards as well.
Okay.
And share about his fellow players. Back with more in a moment.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
At Wallace Eye Associates, right now is the best time to have your cataracts removed. A new year means a new deductible, so if you're just not seeing as well as you used to, schedule your cataract evaluation today. It's fully covered by all medical insurances, including Medicare. You never need a referral at Wallace Eye Associates, and our method of next-generation cataract care is the most affordable in the state. There's only one team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
In Central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hawk. Learn more about how Farm Bureau insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hawk at 3 Real Service, Real People, Farm Bureau Insurance.
Check out some of our recent work at the Panthers Stadium. In addition to custom signs and banners, we also handle custom trophies, custom awards, custom vehicle wraps, and more. Give us a call. We handle projects large and small.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocations, and currently serving the real estate world in the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
And we're back live, back live at Buffalo Wild Wings. Joining us now, we've got John Wolf, David Perkins, your head coach of the Eagles, and we've got we'll put that over there, and Landon Anderson behind the camera, and I'm Tom Bouchie, and we have a special guest joining us, Landon, pan that camera a little bit over, and they don't need to see me, but we need to see T-Sam.
Sam.
I know you don't like the T, Sam, but I don't
mind the T. It's my mom.
His mom fussed at me last year.
Oh, your mom doesn't like it? Okay. We had your mom sitting right there last week, and she didn't say anything to me about that.
She was being nice.
She was. She could have been honest. But, all right, Sam Bricata joins us. In fact, we were just talking about it. 2 weeks now in a row, all of our special guests have been Bricatas. And so we had your dad on to talk about coaching linebackers as part of the show, and then your mom came in and was joined us last week to talk about moms in football. So welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So we'll pull this up real quick. The Security Sporting Goods Player of the Game. Normally we're naming one player, but we were really having a difficult time because it was such a good game. Mm-hmm. You know, you had running backs that played well. You had the quarterback played well. You had receivers who were catching passes. Cutter Knowles tipping it to himself and making a touchdown. But you can't do any of that without the offensive line. And the fact that the offense was so balanced this week, John and I talked about just give it to the whole offensive line. And so we just wanted to honor them with our Security Sporting Goods Players of the Game, we'll name it.
Well, and I tell you, the offensive line's been beat up this year, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at the injuries, you look at the rotations. They would have one guy go down, this guy go down the next week, and it's, hey, we're rolling this guy from the left to the right, putting him at center. Jack goes down at center in the middle of the game. You know, they've had a lot of difficulties this year with injuries and rotation, and you see what they did. I was talking to Coach at the break. 193 or so yards rushing.
Just in the first
Yeah,
half?
well, no. Total game rushing yard. Just rushing yardage.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 200 yards rushing the ball, which you could see it in the drives they were doing. And just a really good game by the offensive line. And you look at some of the blocks, when you go back and look at it on film, they executed some of those plays really good.
Yeah, you're right. The offensive line, we've lost some good guys in the offensive line. We've had to move Hunter Vaughn over to center, and then we had to move a freshman over to where Hunter Vaughn was over there at left tackle, which affected the way that he was playing on defense. He's just a freshman, trying to go both ways. So we've had to kind of plug in guys to where he was playing on defense. And then, we've got Cade Tossan at guard. We've got Carson Albanian at the other guard.
Who's been good from defense to offense,
and
too.
both of those guys have played most of the season, but they were also plugged in earlier in the year. And then you've got Hollis Chapman out there at right tackle.
Who was injured himself.
And he's missed a couple games also. So just been trying to just plug it together, and it came together really good Friday night. They had a great game. We had a great game plan. Jake and Sam were able to find some seams in there and some gaps in there and make some really good runs.
I think Cade was playing hurt the other night. I believe Cade Tossan was playing hurt. We were kind of watching him early on to see if he was going to be able to make it through the whole game. I think he made the whole game. And, a couple games ago, Jarrett Scalisi, freshman, coming in, defense, offense a little bit, and bouncing around. So I think they made a really good, adjustment to Port Barry the other night, and it showed on the field. You could see it in the rushing yardage. You could see it in the passing attack, too.
Sam, join in on the conversation here. I mean,
Sam's here.
Number 20 on the football field. We're watching you on defense. We're watching you on offense. I mean, you're playing almost every play of the game out there.
Special teams.
And you've got, returning kicks and punts, you name it. You're doing it all, but you can't do it without the offensive line. And just talk about it. Not only start out just talking about how the offensive line played for you and what you were seeing, in this Port Barry game.
I definitely had some holes to run in, and then the most notable thing was their pass blocking. I mean, I really didn't have to touch anyone in the backfield the whole game.
So when you get the ball, I mean, what was different about this game than some of the past games where we've had difficulty running the ball?
Just being able to see it in the hole and just being there.
We also have added a tight end, and that helps out a lot too. It kind of spreads that defensive line out a little bit more, and we can double team a little bit more too. That kind of helps. And we've been working on our tight ends blocking. They're young, haven't done it before, just kind of threw them down there a few weeks ago. So I think that's helped out a lot too.
In the past we only had 8 seniors this year, so we did our senior profiles, which has been a thing that we've done since I've been here and doing coaches shows. Always wanted to try to play up the seniors, but then when you're going into 10 games and going into 11th game, you gotta profile folks, and so Sam is joining us here to kind of profile. But let's stick a little bit, Sam, with the running game and the fact that the offensive line was the player of the game. But you heard us talking about all the injuries this year. Talk about what that's done for you as a running back, having to deal with all of those injuries and how it changes from game to game.
I mean, there's really not much you can do about it but keep playing and keep trying to make it work.
And Sam's also part of that running game, not just running the ball. So we call on those guys to block also, not just in the passing game. So that it's very crucial for the running backs to also get their blocks. A lot of times they're kicking or they've got to go get one of those linebackers. If you don't block those guys, you don't have a successful play. So he's part of that also.
Yeah, talk about that and being a lead blocker for Jake, knowing he's coming in behind you and trying to look for the guy that that you have to block.
I mean, it's really how I started the season off, because I started off the season at playing H-back for Aiden Moran. But so I'm just used to it. It's something that I know how to do, and I like it. I like going and hitting.
Sam's used to the ruggedness of that. It's not easy being a running back. There's a lot of hitting going on, and you got to take a lot of hits. You're getting thrown to the ground. But, Sam being our Mike linebacker, so he's got contact constantly on defense also. So him just, leading up in there, that's nothing for him. It's just like him filling a gap. And that's kind of like it is. And both ways, he's hitting
Well,
somebody.
that's true. I mean, you're looking for some. Do you have a mentality when you see somebody, if they're there, when you're carrying the ball, that you're just going to try to run over them? Or are you trying to kind of miss them and pick up a few more yards?
I don't know. I really just kind of go with the flow of the way I see it and just play.
Sam's
so
more.
It's just all natural.
It is.
You're just running by gut.
Sam has more moves in the hole than like Jake would. Jake would be more to try to run over you than Sam. And you can't really coach that. That's just their style. That's Sam's style, and he's got quick feet, and I think playing linebacker helps him. But he's run the ball and done these things, for a long. He's only a sophomore, but he's done them for us. He's done them in junior high, so he's used to it.
Yeah, you brought that up. Being a sophomore and being young, what's it been like for you this year with as much playing time as you're getting? Basically in all three phases of the game, hardly coming off the field.
I really don't think about the fact that I'm a sophomore. Because I got some playing time last year, and I felt like it helped me develop into this year, just to be able to play both ways. And
we had Jake up here last week, and he was talking about when he got to play some varsity as a freshman. He thought you went out there and everything was going to be great because I guess the 8th grade year was really a good year for them. And then he talked about the speed of the game just being way more than he thought it was, and it's just a difference in ages. I mean, some cases you might be playing against a junior and senior laden team, and they're a couple of years older than you and bigger and stronger. Have you noticed any of that this year? And has the game slowed down for you? Or was it slow already because of some of the experience you got last year?
It's definitely slowed down for me this year from prior to last year.
What are some of the changes that you see from that going back to week 1 against Northwood Lena and then Gina game, and when did it really start to click for you?
I'd say I don't know. It's kind of been clicking for me this season, but
was it different between offense and defense? Or was it just clicking both ways?
It's just clicking both ways.
Yeah. Which side of the ball do you like better?
I really don't know. I like running the ball, but I like tackling people too.
I tell you what I like watching is special teams because he gets the ball 90% of the times and is usually pretty electric.
Yeah, so he's running back kickoffs, he's running back punts. And, going into the season, Sam was going to be a running back, but, he wasn't going to get as many carries because Aiden Moran went down. So, if Aiden doesn't go down, Sam's still running the ball. He probably ain't getting as many chances to run the ball, but, he would definitely be a little fresher on defense. And I'm not saying that as a down thing to him and saying that he's not fresh, he's not doing well. My point is that he's had to do both,
right?
And he's does them both very well. Because look, and we've talked about this on this show, it's hard to play the Mike linebacker and play a running back and play the special teams because you're not, a lineman going both ways, a little bit different. You're not running as much, but he's running 15 yards every play. And, and then not even coming off the field, I can't afford to have him off the field. So he's got to be in great shape, and he really prepares himself in the off season.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, now bring the bulk up because you're probably going to run so much in the fall during the season, going to lose weight.
Talk about the conditioning, aspect of it, and sometimes teams take breaks from that once the season starts, but you guys are still going full bore with it, aren't you?
Yes, sir. We still lift weights just to stay strong throughout the season to maintain your strength.
What's recovery on every play almost?
I don't really do anything for recovery, but I'm usually sore till about Wednesday or Tuesday.
Now, I do give them off on the weekends, so that does give them time to recover. They can watch film on their own. And then Monday's not really a big contact day. It's more of a just putting in our game plan and kind of going through what the other team does. And then Tuesday and Wednesday we really get after it. And he's about right. That's about when the soreness goes out, especially with some of those guys that's running the ball a lot and taking that abuse that they take. So then it's mostly the linebackers and the linemen. So recovery period is usually about 2 days.
Well, your dad brought it up when he was joining us. You guys have a family restaurant, Bricata's. We were there for lunch today, John. Saw you come in for lunch.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they off of school today?
He had an appointment.
And like, that's
Benefits
right.
of having a
So
family-owned
close to school,
restaurant next
right
door.
there.
Huh?
So have you grown up in the restaurant? I mean, what are some of the things you do outside? Are you working there, working with your dad and grandfather? And,
Yes,
tell
sir.
us about that.
I'll work every once in a while during the summer, but I kind of like to work outside more than inside in the restaurant.
So what are some of the things that you do for hobbies? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I like duck hunting and fishing and doing all that kind of stuff.
So with being off on the weekends, you've been heading out and doing some of that, or are you just too busy kind of resting and recovering?
It's duck season now. I didn't even go to sleep last Friday.
Who'd you go hunting with?
I went with Coach Jay Sullivan.
Okay. Any luck?
Oh, yeah. 20.
Tore them up?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Coach Jay sent me a video early Saturday morning of him and a couple of the boys. They were in the boat and they were on their way to get some ducks. So they enjoy their weekends, and it's important for these kids to enjoy their weekends and be teenagers,
What about at school? What are some of the other are you involved in any other activities, any other programs at school outside of track and football?
Not really. I was a student ambassador for a year, but I forgot to sign up again this year, so I'll probably do that again next year.
Well, his mom said with football and with his girlfriend over there, he says he doesn't have a whole lot more to do. Or no, he doesn't have much more time to do much of anything because she lives in Avoyelles, so and we practice a lot, so that's a lot of his time right there. I don't know if he wanted to discuss that, but I discuss it.
So, I mean, has she been here before?
Yes, sir.
She's always here.
Okay, she's here every week?
Yes, sir.
Because isn't Asher's girlfriend from Avoyelles Parish, too?
Yep.
Okay, so they go to the same school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, there's a lot of double dating going down to Bunkie, huh? Save the gas, just switch up cars every other trip down there?
Marksville.
The parish.
Yeah, parish.
Yeah.
Jack Roy,
That's right.
He's down there. And
Hey, y'all got
we got a good connection.
Y'all got a place
with
to stay when you go down there.
Yeah.
They got plenty of room in that house at the Roy House.
They do. They do.
So, what else would you like to tell us about yourself? Talk about your teammates and what they mean to you. I mean, as a sophomore, I would think as much as you're involved in the game, that no matter the age of these players, they're looking to you as a leader, even at the young age that you are as a sophomore. Do you feel that? Do you sense that from teammates?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't know. I try to show by example.
He's not a big talker, a rah-rah guy, unless he's hitting the other team and saying something to him on the ground a little bit. So he may talk a little bit.
So how much smack talk are you doing?
Not as much as Cutter.
Not as much as Cutter.
I don't know. It's a little bit going on out there.
Where were you in the touchdown pass, and what was your reaction? Did you get to see the whole thing happen when Cutter had the tip ball and was able to grab it?
I thought he was about to drop it. He actually did the same exact thing in junior high against Pineville, to win the game.
Okay.
He tipped it up.
Him and Jake.
Good combination.
That was a great play. In fact, we kind of got off track, but speaking of that, our Southern Air Cool play of the game was that play.
It should be.
It should be. It was great to call. Talk us through that. And was that the intended target, or did Jake look off and off of somebody else and throw it to Cutter?
So Cutter's sitting there in the slot position right there, and we've been on the sideline and watching the way they were lining up to it. And he actually had that play a couple of times. We've tried to do it a couple of times. Jake just never got it there, and so we said, Jake, just throw it, and because all he had to do was get inside of the safety, and which he was doing, even though we've done it a couple times, and all Jake's got to do is just throw it far enough, throw it out there, and he's going to catch it. So, he threw it. Cutter's an athletic guy, and he was able to go get it. He's tipped, like he said, he in junior high, but he's tipped balls before and caught them. So that's just kind of way Cutter plays.
Yeah, I almost thought Jake Cutter made a really good play on the ball and was able to adjust to it and make that catch.
And you're right, he was a little bit late on it. Did you got that queued up?
Good touch. No, I wish I did.
I thought that's what you fixed the shot. I was going to narrate.
I hadn't been able to do that this year. Express Employment Professionals of Alexandria, you had one job, lineman of the week, and that's up to the coaches to name.
And I'm going to give that to number 60. He's right over there, Ben Good.
Ben Good joins us.
And he's been good all year long.
So congratulations to Ben Good, the Express.
Thank you. Coming out the locker room.
Talk about injuries, and you're having to run behind him. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Ben Good.
I love Ben. I've actually known Ben. I've always known.
Quit.
He does. He doesn't say much, just plays hard, loves playing, man. He loves football, knows the sport. He loves watching it on TV. He's a big in all them. Make that happen.
So, Mr. Bricata, we just want to say thanks for joining us and being a part. Pray for those guys to get better. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to talk about the Pope John Paul II playoff game, our first playoff game.
At Wallace Eye Associates, right now is the best time to have your cataracts removed. A new year means a new deductible. So if you're just not seeing as well as you used to, schedule your cataract. You never need a referral at Wallace Eye Associates. One team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
In Central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hawk. Learn more about how Farm Bureau insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK and let me help you protect your biggest investments. Real service, real people. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Check out some of our recent work at the Panthers Stadium. In addition to custom signs and banners, we also handle custom trophies, custom awards, custom vehicle wraps, and more. Give us a call. We handle projects large and small.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling Heating Raiders. We do it all. Southern Air Cooling Heating and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling Heating and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
4 minutes of the last coach's show I'll be doing. Well, maybe not. Maybe not.
We're winning.
A victory Friday night, and we're back here next Wednesday. But I won't be here.
I got you.
Because we're leaving Wednesday to go to Fort Worth. So this actually might be my last game because we're going to be over there through Thanksgiving. So you guys got to win
we got to win a while.
3 games.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Never know.
And then I'll be back.
Come back.
But if it is my last game, just David, what a pleasure.
Absolutely.
It has been working with you in the booth.
Yep.
Working with you as athletic director when JC was head coach in the 3 years that we did there, and then you came up and worked with us, and then you got your opportunity. I was really glad to be there to do the live Facebook broadcast of the announcement of you being the new head coach.
I'm glad you got to take that ride with me.
Play-by-play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's been great. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with John, coming up any more knowledgeable than John Wolf. And in fact, on the football field as an official, and it speaks highly the amount of playoff games.
Some coaches might disagree.
Working in the dome.
Oh, the official's life, baby.
You're never going to win that one, John.
Yeah, that's right. We know that.
I can sympathize on that and empathize, whatever one you want. But I did high school basketball in college. And I'll tell you what, the worst coaches and fans were the Catholic schools in Baton Rouge.
They
got yelled at. It's like, I think it's because you have confession. You have confession.
They do. They'll wear you out for sure.
Man, we had to kick more people out of the stands in Catholic schools than anything else. My roommate and I, we call games. But no, what a pleasure. And
absolutely.
Pope John Paul II, I got to thank Chris. He's not out here, but everything Chris has done, calling us to be, Lewis and I, to be the voice of the Eagles when he came back and did his coaching run there. And it's just been a pleasure working with everybody and being back at school. I graduated from there in '83, so just really have enjoyed doing it. Pope John Paul II, Slidell, Louisiana, on the North Shore. We're traveling down there, hopefully going to have some great weather. I think it's supposed to be great weather when we go down there, no chance of rain. Tell us what you're seeing out of this team. I mean, obviously they're highly ranked. Anytime you play down in that area, you're playing really good teams.
They are the 11th ranked team. We've played them before in the playoffs. It's been a little while, but we've played them before. But, it's a good traveling, good distance. It's about 3.5 hours down to Slidell, like you said, on the North Shore. But they're a very well-coached team. Haven't played a really tough schedule, to be honest with you. They've beat about 3 or 4 teams with 1 win. They had a really close game Friday night with St. Helena. It was 21-20. So we've watched that film. We've watched a couple other films. They like to run the ball. If I had to compare them to somebody as far as what they do, maybe more like Church Point, as far as the style. Obviously, they got different type players. Like I said, they are the 11 seed. But, we're going to go in there, and, I think it'll be a one-day thing, and hopefully we won't have no jet lag, so to speak. But to me, it's a game that we could definitely give you Menard on them.
Okay, so going that route, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. So what's the schedule, look like? What time will y'all be heading out and trying to get down there to get the kids? Do you have somewhere to take them so they can?
Yeah, and I noticed I got a couple of texts right there. Corey Roy, who is Jack Roy's father, does all the planning as far as the meals and those type things go. So we're going to leave. Actually, the school's getting out half a day, so 11:52 the whole school gets out. But we'll probably get out around 11 and then have the stuff all ready to go and get out of there. We're either going to eat in Baton Rouge or Denham Springs and just kind of go from there. And then I might take them to the mall or whatever. But
that's what we did
we're definitely
last
gonna go
year.
Eat somewhere.
Last year, I think we stopped at walk-ons, didn't we?
Well, we went to.
No, that was softball.
Yeah, that was softball. But we went up. We were in Shreveport last year with Captain Shreveport. We went to their mall. It wasn't much there, but we went to the mall. But we went to eat, which is the main thing I want to do with them. Just eat as a team and kind of have that fellowship and just kind of. If I got time, we'll go find something else to do. Probably at the mall in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Well, one year, did y'all go down to go to Tiger Stadium and do some?
We never did.
Okay.
So, but we did play Parkview, so maybe JC did. I don't know if he did anything at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, man. It all runs together.
It does.
Yeah,
and I wasn't with him, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, what about speed? I mean, we've had some really fast teams. Gina, Kinder, Church Point.
I really think the season has prepared us for this game. Obviously, we have played against a lot of speed. They're pretty fast. Their quarterback's pretty fast, but, they want to run the ball. That's kind of like what we like to go against, run teams. They'll throw it a little bit, but they got some good running backs, kind of a quirky little offense. Quarterback likes to get outside and run the ball. They probably ran this play 6 or 7 times against St. Helena because it kept working. Like they literally pull the whole line, either left or right. And they got the running backs up in there too, and the quarterback would just run outside, and they just kept doing it time after time, and he would never get tackled, and he'd just run it 10, 15, 20 yards and just go right out of bounds.
They'll run a lot of the single wing tee, double wing tee. They'll give you both looks, everybody pulling the tight end around, pull the tight end on a drag route every now and again. So, I mean, it's
we got to be able to stop. We got to stop the fullback. They like to give in Church Point. So stuff we've seen, and we should be used to it. And Sam talked about reading a while ago. So those guys are going to have to stay locked in. They got their keys to read, and we just can't run out of there because they'll come back to the spot. So everybody's got to stay kind of where they're at and just play good, feel team defense, and just do your job.
John?
Yeah. No, I mean, Coach said it. You're going to see a lot of single and double wing tee, I think, out of them. And they'll throw it vertically every now and again, but they got a shifty running back they like to get the ball to, like to get him outside if they can. And he can hurt you if you let him.
Can't let him get loose.
Give you one more look at the crowd we had tonight. I think it was one of the largest crowds we've had all season long. I know the folks at Buffalo Wild Wings have been glad that we were here. Wednesday night's kind of a slow night for them. So to be able to have this staff about the boys and the kids,
they've told me several times,
how well they have behaved and been kind and patient. Although we got to give it to the staff at Buffalo Wild Wings, they have been on it every week to be able to get the food out. And thanks to Jennifer and to John and all the folks at Buffalo Wild Wings, if this is the last time that we're out here.
But I think that's a testament to the staff at Menard too.
Appreciate that.
The folks that are watching these kids Monday through Friday. Like you said, we've had the staff come up to us and say, man, we've had teams come in here before and they don't act anything like your kids. And that's a testament to the school too. So I give them props.
Well, I know that they've enjoyed having the Eagles football team and their parents and fans here. In fact, Jennifer, is hoping that you guys will be back next year too.
Okay.
She mentioned that tonight, the manager, as she was leaving. So,
we're teaching them all kind of. This is a really close group right here. A lot of the guys come every single week.
Yeah.
So proud of those guys and
the corner. Valex Federal Credit Union, they've been a title sponsor for the last 3 years.
Thank them.
Sadler's Towing, Wallace Eye Center, and Associates. You've seen the commercials that we've done with walk-ons and Quibidos and Doug Young Nursery, BK Distributors, Kim Harrell. We saw her today, Kim Harrell Appraisals. She was there. They're going to have a new commercial coming out soon, and Southern Air. And Jason Hawk, he's been with 446 since the beginning. Yeah. So our thanks to 446. That is the platform that we're on, that we send the signal out to YouTube, Facebook, and X for folks to be able to tune in.
Katie, I don't know if Katie's watching, but Katie, I don't know what it's going to cost to keep you at home for the next 72 hours, but we really need Tom Friday night.
You got to talk to Julia. You got to talk to Julia.
Yeah.
Little Julia,
do it.
Ready?
Stay there.
who's like in position to be able to be born. And
because I can't run that thing.
With 2
I can run this. I can't run that.
We got to make it through the full moon tonight and almost full moon, I guess, tomorrow, whatever it is. But hopefully gravity won't pull Julia down too much, and we can actually be there because I really want to make the call on
absolutely
what might be my last game. So, David.
Yes, sir.
For us, everybody have a great night. God bless. Thanks for joining us. You get the final words.
I'll say please come out and support your Eagles, and we'll go give them heck, and go Eagles.
Go Eagles. 6:35 pregame. David will be interviewed at 6:47 p.m. the kickoff. Join us Friday night if you can't make it down to Slidell. God bless everybody.
Thank you.